can the president declare an emergency and then use his emergency powers under federal law to impose tariffs and import duties on foreign nations? At the start of his presidency, he said, well, I have to impose these tariffs on these various countries because of drug trafficking. He also, by the way, when he ran for president, promised to lower costs, and yet these tariffs are, believe it or not helping with that. Here's the issue. Yes, the president does have some certain emergency powers, but what Donald Trump wants to do is basically declare everything an emergency so that he doesn't have to go through Congress. Donald Trump wins, it will be very easy for him to circumvent Congress entirely. It creates a pretty serious separation of powers issue because Congress is constitutionally mandated to levy taxes. Here's the interesting thing. When the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in this case, it wasn't just the liberal justices who sort of balked at the Trump administration's argument that they should be able to do whatever they want. Even the right-wingers were like, are you sure? Even Neil Gorsuch was saying, I'm really struggling to see the government's point of view here. I'm really struggling to see how I can go along with your argument. So that doesn't bode well. And Amy Coney Barrett was pretty strongly questioning the government's argument in this case, basically saying, I don't think the president does have the authority to do this. The Supreme Court very well could determine that Donald Trump doesn't have the authority to willy-nilly declare an emergency and do whatever he wants. And here's what you're going to see if that happens. You're going to see a lot of press that basically suggests that the Supreme Court did this amazing thing and that they're normal and they're not hard right-wing MAGA justices, that they're part of the fight to restrain Donald Trump. Don't fall for that. If Donald Trump wins this tariff case, it's because not even the MAGA justices can find a justification for his argument. Not because they're scared about what he wants to do, not because they care that he's an authoritarian, and not because they don't agree with 99.9% of the rest of the stuff that Donald Trump wants to do. They've done a lot of favors for Donald Trump up to this point. They rule with him most of the time, the MAGA justices do. They've already said, in Trump versus the United States, they said, you can commit any crime you want as president, and you are broadly immune. They've said in the birthright citizenship case, they said to Trump, you can sign and implement unconstitutional executive orders while the lower courts are determining whether or not you overstepped, which kind of defeats the purpose of the lower court weighing in at all. Just because they might not go along with the tariffs doesn't mean they're not bought and sold into the MAGA project as a whole. Let their history do the talking. They overturned abortion. They are gutting the Voting Rights Act. They have given Trump the power to basically do whatever he wants.